What's going on, everybody, and welcome on into episode 261 of the Garage Beers podcast, brought to you proudly here on the OBR streaming network. The OBR is your home for all the best Cleveland Browns coverage in all of Cleveland. It's the oldest, it's the largest, it is the best. It's the OBR. Make sure you get over to the OBR.com and you hit subscribe, and make sure whether you're watching us here on YouTube or Twitch, on Facebook, on X, or wherever, make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're following. And we appreciate having you in here with us, having a beer, getting ready to talk a little bit of our favorite sports teams. Go follow the show at the Garage Beers on all the socials. And with you as always, I'm just losing my mind. It was like and Chad's over there just still hanging. It was a rushed start to this. It was a very crazy beginning of this show, but we're in it now. With you as always, I'm your host, Michael Keefe. Find me online at Garage Beers Mike. And joining me on the east side of Cleveland, find him online at Garage Beers Chad. It's Chad Meyer. What's up, Chad?
I need to propose two questions to you to open the show here, Mike. Will John Gruden ever figure out how to open a fucking box? I mean, have you seen these? Have you seen these unboxing videos?
No, I've not watched them, but
Dude, first off,
a little bit.
I don't know how to get on this list of his, but he's just been getting boxes upon boxes upon boxes from all sorts of different teams, but mostly college football teams, and they're just sending him free gear, like all of the gear, all of the equipment manager stuff, all of like the coaches' shoes, helmets, sweet hoodies, sweet quarter zips. But he just this guy acts like he has never opened a box in his life. Right? He's like, I got the Rick Grimes knife here. And look at this. Everybody's giving me shit online about the way I open boxes. I got box cutters. But he opens like half the box. Then he's like, spends like the next 2 minutes trying to rip open the box after opening one side. Like, dude, it doesn't work like that. What are we doing?
Yeah, you got to be able to open a box, man. If you're going to be like an NFL head coach, you got to be able to open a box.
You're 800 years old at this point. You should know how to open a box. Second, and I'm hoping you've seen this, Mike. Do we need to rescue Bill Belichick? Like, do we gotta get him? Do we gotta get him out of this? Like, he's like, there's some sort of weird shit going on with him. I don't know if it's elder abuse or what he's being held in, but the look on his face in that CBS Sunday morning interview, like he's like, it's like, help me. Like, I think he was blinking in Morse code. Help me.
Listen, maybe it's just ahead of schedule, but I want to be, ahead of schedule with you on the show. His girlfriend was going to be my asshole of the week.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry, but 78-year-old Bill Belichick doesn't need a lesson on how to do an interview.
Right.
And he certainly doesn't need her off in the corner. Like, we're not answering that question. You would hear it like it'd be like, we're not answering that. We're not answering that. And you're like,
yeah.
Where's that voice coming from?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, there's your asshole of the week.
Listen, man.
I've got two of them whenever we get there.
No, well, you and your assholes.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple videos, and man, I don't know if I could take it. I need listen, Charlie Chuck in the comments. I'd be okay with Bill's situation for a week or two.
Hey, if it was a week or two, fine. Well, he looks like he needs help. Did anyone notice the blinking? Like, anyone notice Morse code? Was he blinking?
Listen, I want to use Charlie Chuck's comment here to remind you that if you're joining us live here tonight, we've already got several hundred of you in here with us. Jump in the comments and join in the conversation, because I think this is going to be a kind of a show where we want to talk to you guys all throughout the show, because we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. But it just makes me realize, I don't know how these dudes do it, man. I don't know how they do. I don't know how they do it with like the 20-something-year-olds. Nope. I just kind of want to get old with my wife and like be done with it. Like, I don't know how I saw another video. Paul Heyman from the WWE. Oh, Lucy's here, which...
Hi, Lucy.
Crap out of me. Everybody say
what
hi.
Up, Lucy?
Say hey, everybody. Hey. Say go Cavs. Say go Browns. Hey, Lucy, what do you say? Here we go, brownies. Here we go. Oh, she didn't want to.
No, that was the line.
Right, go to bed. And close the door. Go to bed and close the door. Okay, goodbye. Good night. Jesus Christ. And she's back. I saw another video. WWE's Paul Heyman. Did you know he is engaged to a 22-year-old? Have you seen this, Chad?
Have I seen? Yeah, like some dancing video that he's just like
I can't, man. If I'm pushing 70 and I'm appearing in some 22-year-old's TikToks, just take me out back in old Yeller me. Like I'm beyond it at that point. Just
hey, listen. When you've got the gift of gab like Paul does, it's not surprising to me. Like Bill Belichick's a totally different story. She's after his money, right? And he's but there he's sitting there going, I've never worried about anything anybody tells me. I just love football. You know, Paul Heyman is like, I bet you he has some game. Like the guy can just talk his way through anything.
Yeah, man. Listen, it was just it's a crazy situation. I watched that whole interview and I was like,
uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable.
I can't get through this. Look at Slam Sammy in the comments goes, from my perspective, the sweet spot is a girl 4 years younger than you, not 40. Not 40.
That's understandable.
I agree.
Totally doable. You can't. How can you relate to a 24-year-old when you're 70?
My wife is 3.5 years younger than me.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just turned 40. She's 36. She'll be 37 this year. Sweet spot. Sammy, you nailed it. Sweet spot. Because I'm still way more immature than she is. So that's perfect. It's great. It's perfect. That's the sweet spot. Listen, we're going to get into a great show here. We've got a lot of great stuff. Chad and I are going to spend the first probably chunk of the hour just going over everything Browns draft. Joey is finally going to be back.
Hey,
he's got a quick work call that he's got to be on, but he's out in Seattle. He's officially made his move across country. I'm extremely jealous of the trip that they took because they drove from Nashville to Seattle. But Joey will be here at some point tonight for the last 45 minutes or so. Around 10 o'clock, we are going to bring in Tim Alcorn, the radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because, listen, we're going to talk about the Browns and the draft and all that. But you know we got to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers sweeping the Miami Heat out of the playoffs. You know we got to talk about being up by 60 points yesterday.
Baby, just spanked him.
60.
Bad baby. Just spanked him.
Listen, I don't know why Lucy is not in bed. I hoping my wife is somewhere in this house. Listen, for the first time ever, the diff that comes up for Cavs games mattered because I was like, Jesus Christ, what's 78 minus 27 or like I was like, that's so
you didn't need
much.
To do math. You don't have to do math. It's just a lot.
Give me the diff. Just give me the diff. But we're gonna get into all that later. But we got to start with our garage beers of the week. So, Chad, why don't you lead us off? What are you drinking tonight?
Well, the wife bought the Shandy mix pack, Shandy variety pack from Market Garden, and tonight I'm drinking the berry pomegranate Shandy from Market Garden.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Huh?
Is it good?
It's a tasty beverage. It's doesn't taste like beer. It's like alcoholic lemonade.
So I can get into the Shandies, especially in the summer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Market Garden has by far the best one. Their lemon shandy is the best shandy I think I've ever had.
Oh, dude, I got lemon. There was ginger mule. There's cherry limeade, and then there's the regular lemon shandy in this variety pack, and they're all delicious.
Yeah.
Not very high alcohol content. Like if you're looking to get hammered, you're gonna need about probably 8 to 10 of these, or at least I would. But yeah, it's very tasty. Here comes Patrick.
And Patrick's here. I don't know why all my kids are in here.
I just tried to get her.
Can you say go Browns? Can you say go Cavs?
Boo.
He was rooting for. He loved Miami for some reason. He was rooting for the Heat. Sucks. Heat is at home.
Sweep.
Gregory has having Maker's Mark and Keystone in the comments. I'm having a beer that my wife got me from one of my very favorite breweries in all of Ohio, out in Catawba. It's from Twin Oaks Brewing. If
Oh,
you haven't been
nice.
out there, it's far and away the most fun brewery to hang out at.
Yeah, it's a great
But
brewery.
this is the Rutherford B. Hayes.
Oh, I see
You
what
like
they did there. Very quirky.
Rutherford B, an Ohio boy.
Very funny.
Not a lot of fun stuff to say about Rutherford B. Hayes, but they named a beer after him because he's from Ohio, and it is a hazy IPA. And let me tell you, it is delightful.
It is hazy.
It is hazy.
Go, Gardas!
It's delicious. And now don't put the beer down. And Lucy is cheering for the Gardos. Lucy is cheering. Well, Lucy, we're gonna need you to cheer. We're gonna need you to cheer.
Jay Marlin. It's gonna be my birthday.
Well, I'm gonna get rid of them for a minute, and then we're gonna get into. All right. Well, I'm gonna start. I want to be a part of the first conversation, so I'm gonna get rid of them, and then we're gonna start. Hold on 1 second.
Hold on 1 second. Everybody, hold on 1 second. Yeah.
Like and subscribe.
While Mike's getting away from getting rid of his kiddos,
Go.
we're about to do Brown's draft reactions tonight for the first chunk, and but what a draft it was!
Like and subscribe to Michael Keith's Garage Beer Podcast.
Let's go.
Boom!
All right.
Good promotion, man.
So listen, we're gonna get into the draft, 100%. But I want to start with this because it is the conversation sweeping the nation.
Yeah.
And I got to get you guys. I got to get opinions. I got to get what everybody's thinking here. The conversation sweeping the nation.
Okay.
Dad Meyer, I got to hear your thoughts on this. 100 men.
Oh, man, I'm surprised you didn't save this for the end.
No, I want to know right off the bat. All I've thought about is this all day today.
Okay.
100
Wow, you have
men.
a lot of time on your hands.
Well, it was either think about this or work. 100 men or one full-grown ass silverback gorilla. The men cannot be armed. There are no weapons here.
They cannot be armed.
They are not armed.
Okay. Wow.
Oh, wait, hold on. Live from Seattle for the very first time, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. All right.
Let's go. What's up, fellas?
Joey. Mike.
I got off a little early.
Patty and Lucy are up and at 'em. They're not leaving Mike alone.
Oh, all right. So that was really good timing then.
They've been a part of every second of this beginning of the show.
Oh, fun. Well,
Yeah.
What a non-chaotic way to start it off.
Yeah. So what is
Oh, boy.
so what's up, man? How was the drive out
What's
there?
up? Dude, the drive was great.
Yeah.
I don't think we could have picked a better time of year to drive out. Like we really didn't hit any bad weather.
Nice.
There's nothing really to look at until you get to like South Dakota. Like it's
Ever.
really just kind of forgettable through Illinois, Missouri, Nebraska, Iowa,
Oh yeah.
good chunk of South Dakota. But by day like 2.5, we got to see Mount Rushmore. We went through some of some back roads through out of Mount Rushmore to our hotel that night.
It's all back roads outside of Mount Rushmore.
Pretty much, dude. Pretty
Yeah.
much. So we saw Mount Rushmore. We saw Badlands National Park, which is really cool.
Oh yeah, that's
we
sweet.
did go to this place in Iowa called the Corn Palace, which is it's like a theater, I guess.
Okay.
It's the world's only corn palace. It literally says so on the building.
That's it. I
but
can't imagine there would be many more.
The entire outside is it's like art, like the Statue of Liberty, like the Sydney Opera House, made of like corn cobs and corn husks. Like it's like
shit.
very cool.
Wow. The creativity of some people, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's super creative. But yeah, we did like Devil's Tower, which is a national monument in Wyoming.
Nice. Okay.
And just saw a bunch of mountains and stuff and hung out. It was a great time.
Are you in in Seattle, or where are you at in Washington now? Where'd you move?
It's Bellevue, Washington. So it's
Okay.
like the town right next to Seattle. It's literally the downtown's like the same size as Nashville. Like it's massive.
Nice.
But yeah, we're here. We're in the in-laws' basement and pretty settled in here. We've been here for just under a week.
And last question: are you going to Like, is your house? Is that like is a house being built? Are you just living there till you find a place? Like, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, we're staying here until we find a place.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna hang out here for a little bit, maybe a couple months or so, and go explore some of the areas around Seattle and figure out what town we like and what type of place we want to rent and do that whole searching thing. So that's the fun part.
Sweet, awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Hi, Mike.
Guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Did you figure that out?
It's figured out. Did we do Joey's beer? What are you drinking, Joe?
Oh yeah, we didn't do Joey's beer.
Boys. What's the beer? I think it's like a Canada beer, New York beer, the like moose beer.
The Canadian beer?
Oh.
Moosehead. It's just Moosehead.
Moosehead. It's Moosehead, right?
Yeah, I think so.
This is like Seattle's Moosehead or like Genesee Cream Ale.
Ooh.
So we're gonna be bringing in some Seattle beers here, but this is just a classic Rainier beer.
There we go.
Super foamy because I got a cold mug here.
All right.
I'm just gonna drink out of the can because that's quite a heady beer there. But yeah, we got the Rainier beer. It's just a nice, easy drinking lager, and loving it.
Why the hell is Brad Ward just
What's up, Brad?
Hey guys.
This is the most chaotic show we've ever had. The chaotic opening to a show we've ever had.
What is going on?
I'm just taking liberties now of popping in your show whenever I feel like it.
Yeah, we invite you one time.
I wanted to apologize for going long again.
Oh, did you? I have no idea that you did.
Oh, okay.
On the show?
And on the show before. Because Mike always yells at me, and I wanted to apologize. And I also wanted to flex my my muscle by just popping into your show whenever I feel like it.
Wow,
Huge
you're
flex.
making power moves over here, Ward.
That was power move. I did it. I did. Remember last week? Everybody left, and I came back.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you
yeah.
did.
Oh yeah. Overlord Ward is now in charge of Garage Beers, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what happened
Overlord
last time we
Ward.
did this? You know what happened last time? We made you stick around for a little bit. So here we go. First segment of the week. Brad, you got to be a part of it.
Oh,
Joe,
what?
you came in at the right time.
Did I?
100 human beings, unarmed, adult men, human beings versus
I've been hearing this conversation all day.
Full-grown silverback gorilla. How's it go down?
Weapons? No weapons for hands?
Unarmed adult men versus a full-ass silverback gorilla.
I'll go after this, but I'm just gonna say, no humans survive. The gorilla kills everyone.
Easy. I love that. Hey, you know what? Brad, Overlord Ward, why don't you skip out on that one?
All right.
That was
Can the
awesome.
humans be different sizes?
Yeah. Oh, the humans can be like, you can make them like bodybuilders if you want. I don't care.
Okay. Can there
They
be
can be
like
The mountain.
that's gonna sound bad. Can there be like children and like very like large adults?
What are we doing with
Well,
children?
all right, I'm talking like, all right, you have
Operation
100
Get
human
Behind
beings.
the 4-year-olds.
You have 100 human beings.
Save yourselves.
I'm just saying, you throw a couple of the smaller ones towards the gorilla, distraction,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
and then a human chain of like 50 guys.
No, 100 unarmed adult men versus
Oh,
one
they're
adult
helpless.
full-grown silverback gorilla.
They're helpless then.
Ugh. Okay.
There's too many cooks. Nobody's gonna make a decision on it.
I think the gorilla eventually wins. Like eventually just kills everybody, crushes everybody. Like their organs, their heads. He just crushes all of them. But I don't think this is like this. It's like a cakewalk for them, right? I mean, the 100 dudes are going to put up a fight if they have a good plan. You got to have a good plan against a silverback, right? Maybe you do. Maybe a couple of you do get sacrificed. Pick a couple of kamikazes, right? Just throw them into the fire, and that way someone comes up from behind them. You know, like maybe you get one of those bodybuilders who jumps up and chokes the life out of them.
This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part of this argument because first of all, I feel like the guys that feel like they can beat everybody up are dramatically overestimating what's going to happen for the
Oh
humans
yeah,
in this.
no.
Oh yeah.
But my favorite is listening and I'm listening to these guys go like, all right, the humans can formulate a plan and they can formulate a plan of attack and then they can execute it. And I'm like, listen, you can formulate a plan of attack all you want, but when that first dude, because one of the guys is going to be the first one gets to the gorilla.
Yeah, no, there's going to be casualties right off the bat.
That first dude that gets to the gorilla, that gorilla is picking the dude up, David Njoku touchdown spiking him into the ground, and his spine is going to leave his body. And then all the other dudes are going to be like, oh shit, the plan's not going to work. The plan's not going to work.
You're already down to 99.
Hear me out. I think the best way to go about this, right? Some people got to be sacrificed. Some people just charge the gorilla head on, right? Someone comes up from behind the gorilla, kicks him in the balls.
Ain't gonna work.
I don't know. You don't know that. It could. You kick anything in the balls, it's going down.
That gorilla's getting kicked in the balls, and then he's going to turn around, and the guy's jaw is going to be taken immediately off his face. I'm just saying. We're trying to formulate. If I'm part of the 100, I'm formulating that attack. So here's what I got to say, because 100 people is a lot. So Gregory in the comments makes a great point, and I do think this is the only chance. I do think, like, after the gorilla murders like 70 guys, it's fucking exhausted. It's just like it's just straight tired. And it's like I think maybe the last like 20 dudes have a shot at like if the thing wipes out. If the thing doesn't get that tired, they're all dead easily.
You punch it?
No, you don't punch. Yeah, imagine the first guy that punches the gorilla in the face and the
break its arm
and I just took your face off your body.
Hey, our buddy Sean Zach just sent me this. We just got to get the gorilla a pool. That's it. That's all we got to do is give him a pool. Distract him.
Let's be dancing on the bodies like that.
Yeah.
I was stunned today as I was reading through the answers to this viral thing that happened. I was stunned today at the amount of people who were like, 10 humans could take down a gorilla. 10 humans would be dead in 30 seconds. Just gone. Just the quickest loss of lives of all time. Just gone in 30 seconds. Absolutely out. I don't think people understand that A, gorilla skin is much thicker than human skin. B, gorilla muscle is much denser than human muscle. I don't think people understand that you could go kick a gorilla. You could go wind up as hard as you can and punch a gorilla in the face, and it's just going to look at you like, oh, that was dumb. And then you're dead. Like, you're not taking down a gorilla.
All right.
No chance.
All right. Like, if I have, like, non-lethal weapons, like, can I take a sledgehammer to his nuts?
No, you can't take a weapon.
You got to, like...
That's a whole... He doesn't have one. Or she?
Yeah, right.
Probably she would be worse.
I mean, it's only fair, right? It's only 100 dudes, though. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
World's fastest fat man wants to know if I've actually touched gorilla skin and measured their tissue. Yeah, that's what I do it on the weekends. On the weekends I measure gorilla tissues all the time, and I caress gorilla face. It's my favorite hobby. I'm a little bit sad that we're all kind of on the same page here, because I was hoping one of you two was going to be like, "Oh, humans, easy." I was ready to fight. I was ready to fight over this.
No, yeah, they're not going to overwhelm the gorilla at any point. I mean, the gorilla is eventually going to get gassed, but like even then, he's still going to find something, some strength within him to like throw a guy into a mountainside.
You would hit.
That's more likely.
Sledgehammer. And the gorilla would just grab the sledgehammer and just start winging it around.
Hey, listen. That's fine. That's fine. If I was the first guy to hit the gorilla in the nuts with a sledgehammer, and I was the catalyst to 100 dudes beating a gorilla, that I'm in. I'll die for that. I'll die for that.
That's a terrible thing to die for. I hope you wouldn't actually die for that.
I mean, for the purpose of the argument, yeah. That's sure. Yes.
All right. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts because I think it's maybe one of the most fun conversations happening out there. I got into it a little bit with our buddy Ken Carmen because they had a scientist on the show this morning to explain why 100 humans could beat up a gorilla. But I also watched a video from a zoologist that was like, "You don't have a shot." So the world is split on this. The world is split.
Wait, what did the scientist say about beating a gorilla? What did he say?
You know what? I was at work. I didn't hear it. Ken Carmen posted that like the humans could take down the gorilla, and I said, "You're full of shit." And he goes, "We had a scientist on, and he said we could." And so, yeah.
The rocket scientist, like, you don't know. What's the largest animal you could take on? Mano y mano.
Oh man.
Mano y mano.
It depends on because like a gorilla can get you in so many ways, right? Like I was reading all about this today. A gorilla punch will shatter your skull. If a gorilla punches you, your skull is shattered. A gorilla bite will go right through everything. It'll go, your arm will just come off, right? Like that's my favorite part about this conversation is the idea that the gorilla is going to rip your arms off and beat you to death with it because that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
People.
What? Oh, all right.
But like, I mean, like, do I think like 10 guys could take out a cow? Yeah, sure. And that's a large animal. But a cow isn't going to.
It's not really going to fight back.
Yeah, a cow's lazy as shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like a chimpanzee is going to take out a lot of humans before they take it out. I'm just saying, like a chimpanzee is going to.
No monkeys for me.
A chimpanzee.
I would go.
A chimpanzee is going to rip off faces before you take it off.
Yeah, but 100 coyote against a chimpanzee.
No, I don't mean 100. I don't mean 100. A coyote? Yeah, I think I could take out.
I think that's the max. I think that's the max
shit out of a coyote.
But a bear on cocaine.
Hold on, my favorite comment. Jote, our buddy Jote says, "How about a bear on cocaine?" No, I'm dead. I'm straight dead.
I mean, I don't know. I'll just do cocaine, and I think I can take down a bear.
Well, you'd be dead at the end of it, but
yeah, it's fine.
Out the bear.
Okay, the bear thing's kind of like it's like a thing here when I walk my dog now. Like, so we have like like the Ring doorbell. Like they have like alerts on the app, and people show like videos of like bears walking by their driveway and stuff. Well, like now that I'm here, like it's like a couple blocks over that we see those at. So
wild.
We are no longer doing like 6 a.m. walks outside. They are all past 8:30, and I got my head on a swivel, boys.
Better take your bear spray.
Yeah, I probably should get some.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Remember, black bear, get big. Brown bear, lay down. If it's black,
if it's black, attack. Yell back. If it's brown, lay down.
Yeah,
you're still dead either way.
If it's a bear, I'm dead either way.
You're gonna die, but it's fine.
Have you seen my dog? He's gonna want to play with it.
I liked your example of coyote. I've thought about it a lot because we have a lot of coyotes here. And actually, in our neighbor, it's really sad. This isn't like a funny thing, but like in our neighborhood group, just like a month ago, somebody posted that they let their dog out to go to the bathroom, and two coyotes came and just ran off with the dog, just gone.
Yeah,
into the woods, gone.
Okay.
So since then, I've got to be honest with you. Since then, I have fantasized about if I let Cooper outside and a coyote starts walking, we're eating coyote that night. Like I'm going out with my bare hands.
That's some serial killer shit right there.
Out. Oh, you know what? You come after my dog.
Yeah.
You come after my dog, and we're eating coyote. Coyote, I am not afraid of coyotes. I'm not even afraid of like 2 coyotes. 10 coyotes, maybe I'm a little afraid of. Jared, hold on. I got to pause here for a minute. Jared Turnwald has been listening to a half hour of this bullshit and just subscribed for 34 months in a row. So,
okay.
This might be my cheers of the week. I did not intend on this going for like a half hour.
Okay.
This might be my cheers of the week.
I just thought of something. I thought of another tip. Maybe don't kick the gorilla in apparently what Mike thinks is double thick skin balls.
And the muscle.
Yeah, and the muscle.
Dense tissue.
New plan. You sacrifice like the first 10 dudes. All right. And then you come up from behind it again. It's like choking the gorilla out, but you go for the eyes. Like you get like the eyes. I think that's your only chance. If it can't see.
No, listen, that's the plan of attack against any big animal is try to get the eyeballs, and because that's a sensitive spot for all of them, but still, you're
sure.
Anyways,
what if you kick a coyote in the balls? What if the coyote's fixed? World's fattest fat man.
It's 9:30, and I want to spend some time talking about the damn Cleveland Browns. I thought this was going to go till like 9:15. Then the kids attacked, and then we got into this. So anyways, now let's start talking about what we're here for on episode 261. And boys, the NFL draft is in the books. And I want to throw this up on the screen because this is the draft class for the Cleveland Browns. Mason Graham, you see him up here. The Browns trade back from 2 to 5. They pick up a first-round pick next year. They pick up more picks this year, and they get Mason Graham. The second round, they get Quinshawn Judson, and this is going to take
Judkins
to get this right. Yep, there it was. Carson Swessinger. I was so concerned about Swessinger that I mispronounced Judkins. That's how concerned I was. It's going to take forever to get Swessinger down. So they pick up Swessinger and Judkins in the second round. They picked up Harold Fannin. Boys, you know I was just creaming my jeans when they picked up Harold Fannin.
Oh, yeah.
They pick up, I think, the most underrated running back in the entire NFL draft class in Dylan Sampson. And then they get the two quarterbacks in Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders. So boys, in our conversation, I want to start at the beginning and work our way through this, because I think when you take this draft as a whole, well, you know what? I'm going to get your impressions of the draft as a whole, but I want to talk about our impressions of the draft as it happened. So the night started with them making a trade with the Houston Texans to basically get rid of all their late picks for a 5th rounder and a 5th rounder next year, which I thought was a great trade, because when you look at the percentage chance that a guy is going to not just make your team, but like become an actual player on your team.
Yeah.
It exponentially starts to drop off. You get to the 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, 6th, you're getting into like fractions of percentages that these guys are actually going to make it. So trading like 6th and 7ths for 5ths doesn't seem like much, but you're giving yourself a much better chance of actually hitting. So they make that trade. And then, boys, we get to about an hour before the draft, and the rumors just start going nuts that the Cleveland Browns are in active trade talks with Jacksonville. And it turns out that the Cleveland Browns decide to move down from the 2nd pick. They trade the 2nd and a couple other picks to Jacksonville for Jacksonville's number 5 pick, number 36, number 126, and most importantly, I feel like, next year's 1st round pick. When you saw the trade, what was your initial reaction?
Go ahead, Joey.
You go. Well, all right. I was going to say, reading down top to bottom, it was like, what the fuck? And then I saw the 1st round pick, and that like really softened the blow for me. The Browns have not had a 1st round pick in a very long time. And we have lost a lot of capital because of that. We've lost a lot of development of younger players because of that, and potential hitting on some good talent. And we need to start getting that back as quickly as possible. And to drop 3 spots, you lose Travis Hunter. But you know, in hindsight, looking back at that, like, could you imagine if they took Shadur at 2? Going into
right.
that. So my thought is with, the rumors of Shadur and him sliding stuff kind of going into the draft as well, it was like, maybe they just weren't sold on Travis Hunter. Maybe they weren't sold on Abdul Carter, and they're like, hey, like, if it's not one of those 2 guys, and we're going to try to get Shadur later in the draft, let's just drop a couple spots.
I didn't hate it at first. I didn't like it because I was disappointed, because I really, really, really wanted Travis Hunter. But I started floating the idea in my head. That, like, you know what? There's not a franchise quarterback in this draft, right? They don't really believe that there's a franchise quarterback in this draft. Why not move down? And if they were going to move down, it had to be a first rounder next year had to be attached to it. And it had to be from a bad team. And sure enough, Jacksonville comes calling. And, I was disappointed, but once I saw the haul that they got, and then they got Mason Graham, who I just think is going to just be an absolute dog and a beast in the middle of that defensive line, I ended up really liking it. It's not sexy. It's not flashy. But I ended up really, really liking it because the Browns haven't had a disruptive interior defensive lineman like Mason. I mean, I can't remember the last time. I mean, what Sean Rogers, was he disruptive at all, or was he just fat? I don't know.
He was disruptive sometimes.
Yeah, he was disruptive sometimes, but they haven't had anybody like that. So, you know, if you truly didn't feel I was a franchise quarterback, yeah, get extra assets because you got to make up for the last 3 years of Deshaun Watson. And you've got to, which we'll get to that, but like all of these players really are they're trying to it's clear they're trying to rebuild the image here. But I mean, but my initial disappointment, it also didn't really come from just wanting Hunter. It also came from how many times have we traded down? It just hasn't worked out. It's a lot of PTSD, a lot of Browns PTSD. But
that's fair.
Yeah, eventually, but you know, it is. As I looked at it from a 10,000 foot view, I ended up really, really liking the trade.
All right, so let's run through each of these players, and let's start with their first pick in Mason Graham. And I've been vocal about this all the way throughout because Mason Graham has been a guy that's been linked. Mason, like even before people really thought they would trade out, nobody ever thought they were going to take him at 2. But like Mason Graham's just been a conversation piece. And the thing that has bugged me about the conversation with him is that he's always been the word safe gets thrown in with Mason Graham. Well, he's the safe pick. He's the guy that like his floor is really high. But when you call somebody the safe pick, it also suggests that their ceiling isn't as high. And like I think that's so far off from the actual projection of Mason Graham. I think this guy is as disruptive as of a defender. Like him and Abdul Carter are the most disruptive defenders in this entire draft. He is an absolute beast on the inside of that defensive line. And when you look at what they're going to trot out there next year, it's Myles Garrett. You're banking on Mike Hall, who was really good when he actually played last year. You've got the other edge players you've still got Okoronkwo still around. You've still got Alex Wright, and you've still got Isaiah McGuire. And Alex Wright was showing you massive improvements till he got hurt. And I know that was early in the season, but he was. And Isaiah McGuire was massively improved throughout the year. You still got Jawan Briggs that you drafted in the 7th round that like came on like a crazy man last year in the interior. But like, if you're going to say we're going to start with Obo and Mike Hall and Myles Garrett, and now you're going to throw Mason Graham in the middle of that, that is a shockingly good defensive line that the Browns are going to trot out there.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, Mason still has to prove it at the NFL level, but I mean, the guy is a pocket mover. Yes. That's the main job of a defensive lineman. Like, you know, the main excuse I always see with people when they criticize a defensive lineman at all, defensive end, defensive lineman, anything, is where are they? Where are they? Where are they? There's a reason that interior defensive linemen, defensive ends only have 30, 40 tackles a year. And that's a good year, right? Their job is to disrupt, right? If they can make a tackle, great. And they're trying to make tackles. They're not just olaying any tackles that they have a chance to make.
Right.
Their job is to disrupt, to open things up for the linebackers, for like a blitzing safety or a corner to make plays. And Mason Graham is elite at doing that. So I think Obo needs to bounce back. You know, I know he was battling a couple of health issues next year. Whoever that edge is on that opposite side does need to contribute, right? I mean, right now it's kind of a revolving door. You know, Obo had a down year last year. Alex Wright was You know, Isaiah McGuire improved a little bit, but they're going to need to improve that right side.
He was great.
Yeah, they're going to need.
Isaiah McGuire was great.
We're going to need contributions from those guys this year to be successful. But yeah, but those first three. Between Mike Hall, Graham, and Garrett, I expect big things from them this year.
Well, he also is walking into a situation where he doesn't have to be the best player on that line because that's Myles Garrett, and will be until Myles Garrett leaves the Browns. And you just don't have to, you know, you have some expectations as a first-round pick, but like you don't have to be the savior of this line. Like you come into a really strong team here, and I think that's We see that with quarterback play. We see that with any position. Like if you can come into a good environment, like that's should only help your ability to excel on the team.
Well, and the thing that gets me excited about Mason Graham, right? He's the Browns were giving up like 4.5 yards a carry last year. Like they sucked against the run. So obviously that was an area. And Mike Hall, I really like Mike Hall, but he's a penetrator. He likes to get in and get after the quarterback. He may not be, yeah, Chad, don't get excited. Don't get your pants tightened. Don't get your pants all tightened by that.
Hey,
don't get your pants all tightened by that. But like Mike is much more of a pass rusher than he is a run defender, although he's not bad against the run. I don't mean to make it that. But like Mason Graham is both. And when you think about the pressure you're going to get from the edges, which is going to just inherently force the quarterback up in the pocket, and now that quarterback is going up into the pocket into the arms of both Mason Graham and Mike Hall, that is a very scary prospect for opposing offenses. Like what Mason Graham is going to earn stats because he's good, but because Myles Garrett and Isaiah McGuire or Alex Wright are just going to be forcing quarterbacks. The quarterback's going to have to choose. Do I go outside to those guys or do I try to step up into the pocket? And finally, you're going to have this guy in Mason Graham that's just going to be collapsing the pocket. He's going to have nowhere to go. So I really like the move for the Browns. And it's the start. If you ask me why I like this draft for the Browns, and we'll evaluate it more, it's the start of an identity draft. I think this is an identity draft for the Cleveland Browns. You can clearly see the path for the playing style that the Cleveland Browns want to have. And it starts with Mason Graham. It starts with shoring things up the middle. And where the Browns have been weak over the last couple of years is up the middle. It starts with shoring that up. And I that's why I like this draft as much as I do. There's an identity to it. It's not just adding guys to add guys. You can see clearly what they're trying to do. So Mason Graham, they take him at 5. He is supposed to be a beast. We'll see. You never know until they're out there, but he's considered to be a very safe pick, but also with a high upside. So they do that. And then they get, because of the trade, they get 2 very early second round picks, pick 33 and pick 36. And I think the Cleveland Browns really surprised people with these picks because at 33, right off the board comes Carson Schlesinger. And I don't think a lot of people saw Carson Schlesinger coming off the board at 33 to the Browns. I don't think a lot of people saw the Browns going defense with their first 2 picks. So they take Schlesinger at 33. They take Quinshon Judkins at 36. Chad, are you okay? What are you doing?
I know we'll get to it, but the Leafs are leafing, boys. We're going back to Ottawa for Game 6.
Yes, let's go.
All right, let's go.
Right.
Anyway.
Zone in on the conversation here, pal.
Sorry, I couldn't help. I just love it when the Leafs lose.
Schlesinger and Judkins picks 33 and 36. Boys, give me your thoughts on these 2 picks.
I got really nothing on Schlesinger. I don't know. I feel like I really wanted some offensive linemen to come off the board and shore up that side of the ball a little bit. But I understand the Schlesinger pick. Like, this could be like a Clay Matthews or Luke Kuechly kind of guy for our team. That's just a absolute force all over the field, stopping the run, shoring up the middle of the defense. Like, I think that's exciting. I just don't know a ton about him, to be honest. Judkins, I'm excited about. I mean, you had Travion there as well with that pick, and they decided to go Judkins there. But he's an angry runner, and he's got, I don't know, man. I always liked him a little bit more over Travion personally. I don't know why. Maybe that's just an intangible feeling, but like, I feel like we got the running back from Ohio State I wanted if we were getting an Ohio State running back.
Dad?
Well, I mean, I text you immediately, after you text me when they made the question. I said, I fucking hate this team. That was my initial reaction. I hated it so much. For all that, I was pissed because for all the talk about making this offense more explosive. That's all we heard all offseason was making it more explosive. And there were so many great offensive players on the board here at 33. I did not see linebacker coming at all. I figured we were going to take one at some point because we do need linebacker depth. But I wanted 2 offensive players with those first 2 picks badly. But then I looked a little bit more into Mr. Schlesinger, Worcestershire.
He's gonna live in Worcester.
And I love it, and I absolutely love it. He can play in today's NFL. You got to be versatile. This kid can play inside or outside. He's mostly going to be inside, but I love the kid's instincts. He's not the most athletic person, but his instincts make him look, more athletic. The way he diagnoses plays is incredible. So yeah, I think it's going to be. I think our run defense improved even more with that pick, and I think it's going to be. And then obviously the one of us meter in his press conference, in his media availability was incredible. It was something like, 49 is not a linebacker number, but I haven't played in it yet or something, whatever. And then Judkins, I was like, okay. I thought Henderson was the more complete back, and I wanted him. But when you look at this scheme that Kevin Stefanski runs, Judkins is the better fit of the 2 Ohio State running backs. It's just a one cut and go type of guy. Just like Nick Chubb was. So, in the end, I really, really love both of these picks.
Well, here's the thing. I think both of these picks made people question the future of some current Browns. I think when they took Schlesinger, everybody went, whoa, what does this mean about JOK? And Andrew Berry said it doesn't mean anything about JOK. You know what it means? It means we sucked against the run. And even if maybe if JOK was there, we would have been better against the run. But we sucked up the middle. The Cleveland Browns. And I love JOK is my favorite Cleveland Brown outside of Myles Garrett. But the Cleveland Browns for the last couple of years, even with JOK, have been a little bit soft up the middle. And in the passing game, in the running game, they've just been a little soft up the middle. And so what they said was, we took a middle interior defensive lineman to start things off, and now we took an interior linebacker, an inside linebacker. A will linebacker, basically. Although Schlesinger can play kind of anywhere. If JOK is able to come back and play, which we all hope he is because he's such a playmaker. If you got JOK and Schlesinger out there on that defense, the middle of your defense is you can play. What I think it does is let you play as the Browns the way you want to play. Get after the quarterback with 4, maybe 5 rushers. But now, like if you blitz JOK, and by the way, the most underrated part of Schlesinger's game is his ability to blitz. He is the best blitzing linebacker in this draft. So if you blitz JOK or you blitz Schlesinger, you still have JOK or Schlesinger that's over the middle, defending the middle of the field. It's not slow. It's not laboring. It's a very fast linebacker duo, but you can play those 2 guys. You could play those 2 linebackers. You could play your 4 defensive linemen. So there's your 6. You're like 6 in the box, and you're still going to be able to get away with playing 5 defensive backs. And even against the run, you're going to be fine. So I think that's the defense that they kind of want to play. And so I think Schlesinger makes a lot of sense, even with JOK healthy. On the other side, Quinshon Judkins, they view him as a third. They view him as a 3-down back. They view him as a workhorse. Give him the ball. Let him run it on first down or second down, but also keep him in there for third down because he is really good out of the backfield at catching passes. He's better than Travion Henderson in that area of the game. And I think his violent running style and his ability to make plays in the passing game, I know Travion made some big plays in like screen passing game and all that. But Quinshon, there's no doubt. I see the face you're making, Chad. There's no doubt Quinshon Judkins is a better receiver out of the backfield than Travion Henderson ever was.
I completely disagree with that. Well, I mean, I think they're on the I think they're on the same playing field, but it doesn't matter now because the Browns have Quinshon Judkins.
That's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
But I think that's what they see in Quinshon, and hopefully that comes through. So let's real quickly, because we got like 10 minutes left before Tim Alcorn joins us. Real quickly, let's go to the next 2 picks. Let's go to the next pick and then skip a pick. But let's go to the next 2 skill position players. To bring in Harold Fannin, boys, I was on the OBR draft show when they drafted Harold Fannin. You know, I about backflipped right.
Did you
out
cry?
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
I cried.
Change your
You got your
pants.
jersey ordered?
Change your pants.
I haven't bought a Browns jersey in a while. Not since that Odell Beckham jersey went on sale, even though he was still on the team and he played like that whole year, but it was only like $20. That's the last Browns jersey I bought. I will be buying a Harold Fannin jersey, 100%.
Yeah,
Let's go.
you should.
But between him and Dylan Sampson, who again, I think was the most underrated running back in this draft. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think Carson Swessinger means anything for JOK. I'm not sure what Judkins and Sampson means for Chubb. And frankly, I think it might mean that like they're going into this year with Judkins and Sampson and Jerome Ford, and that's going to be the running back room. And to be honest with you guys, as much as I love Nick Chubb, I'm okay with this.
That's
I'm
a better
okay
running
with that
back
running
room.
back
It just
room.
He's
is.
putting out you see those workout videos though, man. He's putting out the workout videos.
Well, the option is you either here's the thing. You either go into the year with Judkins and Sampson are going to be on the team this year.
Right.
So is it Judkins, Sampson, and Chubb, or Judkins, Sampson, and Jerome Ford? And Jerome Ford is owed money this year. Chubb is a free agent. I mean, I think it may not be true. They may decide they're going to cut Jerome Ford and bring Nick Chubb back. And if that's the case, that's cool too. But I think the writing's a little bit on the wall. I think you're probably looking at a running back room of Sampson, Judkins, and Ford, and I think it's a great running back room.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think Jerome Ford might be the third best back in that room.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, honestly, Nick is going to go down as one of my favorite Browns of all time. I love him, but it's time to move on.
Boys, real quick. Anybody with thoughts on Harold Fannin? Because I'm still
no, he sucks. I can't believe they've drafted him. He's terrible.
You're such a bitch.
He's the worst. No, I love the versatility of the tight end, tight half full H back end that he is. I mean, it's you know. How is his game going to translate to the NFL? I mean, we'll find out, but I think it's going to transfer just fine. He's got a weird gait, like a weird fucking gait. Like he runs. He sure does. Super weird. He doesn't look fast, but he runs away from everybody. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how they use him because I don't think it's just going to be a tight end.
No, this dude is going to be an X receiver. He's going to be a Z receiver. He's going to be a Y. He's going to be in the slot. He's going to be an F. He'll be at the fullback. They'll run Wildcat with this dude. And listen, I'll be honest with you. I think this dude might come in and take some of those QB sneak snaps that Kevin loves to run. Like this guy, they're going to line up all over the field because he can play all over the field. And I loved it. I love the versatility, and I love that they just went ahead and made the move to draft him. I think he makes their offense immediately better.
Agreed. Completely agreed.
All right, so 6 minutes left, and I want to get to this because Tim Alcorn is going to be here at 10 o'clock. Then we have the quarterback situation, which is weird. Like, there's no doubt the quarterback situation was weird. They come out, and at 94, they take Dylan Gabriel, and they take everybody by surprise. Nobody.
Yeah, that was weird.
At no point were they ever linked to Dylan Gabriel. And frankly, Dylan Gabriel was consistently ranked in at 8, 9, 10 in this quarterback class of all quarterbacks. So they draft Dylan Gabriel at 94, and everybody goes, what the hell just happened? He's older for a quarterback prospect. He's been in college for a long time. He holds a lot of college records, but that's because he has been there for a long time. And then we're getting ready for them to make a pick at, I think, 144, and they trade up. And they draft Shedeur Sanders, who fell all the way into the 5th round. And, boys, let's just talk through this for 5 minutes because there's so much talk about why Shedeur Sanders fell. There's so much talk about what the hell they did with taking Dylan Gabriel and then Shedeur Sanders. So here's my thoughts, and then I want to hear your guys. My thoughts is this. I think Kevin Stefanski is in love with Dylan Gabriel. I think Kevin Stefanski is fawning over Dylan Gabriel. I think he loves his style. I think I keep hearing people kind of connected to the situation. I have heard people say they think he is like Tua, but better. I don't know that I agree with that, but like, he's got a big time arm. He's got a lot of success everywhere he's gone. I think Kevin Stefanski thinks that Dylan Gabriel can run his system, which is something I'm going to talk about with you in a minute. But then they take Shedeur Sanders. And of course, all of Browns land is like, oh, that's a Jimmy Haslam move. I think Jimmy Haslam did that. Well, then the reports come out, and that includes reports from our own people here on the OBR that this was Andrew Berry. And Andrew Berry went to Jimmy Haslam and to Kevin Stefanski and said, hey, the reward outweighs the risk at this point. Should I make this trade to go up again? Because they knew it's all been but reported, but that the Eagles were going to take Shedeur Sanders with their next pick. So they skipped over the Eagles to come up and take Shedeur, and they take 2 quarterbacks in this draft. And my thought on it is, you got to take your swings at quarterback. You're the worst team in the NFL in a quarter of a century at finding a quarterback. You are the absolute worst in the NFL at finding a quarterback, right? So you took your swings. I think Dylan Gabriel, honestly, has a shot to start the season for the Cleveland Browns. I think he actually has a chance to start the season. But I think Shedeur Sanders can come in and prove. I think he's the most talented quarterback they have in the room. The question is he Johnny Manziel? Is he a dude with talent that doesn't want to commit to the game?
Holy shit.
Enough of that shit.
Is there a storm going on? Did he just lose power? Like, oh my God.
He just pieced out.
He just disappeared, man. Is there? Oh, man. Okay. Enough of Mike's babbling.
I'm back. Go ahead. You guys give me your thoughts on the quarterback.
Listen. The where they took Dylan Gabriel is going to stick in my craw. No matter whether he starts for the Browns, whether he becomes the savior for the Browns, the franchise quarterback for the Browns, it's going to bug me that they took him where they took him. I know everybody's putting out these hypothetical, it's what if they took Shedeur at 33? And no, it's not a hypothetical, or it's not a real thing. I'm not going to even give that any credence because it's not a real thing. There were too many other needs for this franchise to at 94 that they could have drafted him. They could have got Dylan Gabriel in the 6th round. If he was the 8th, 9th, 10th quarterback, they could have gotten Dylan Gabriel in the 5th or 6th round. I do not like where they took him. That being said, I think a lot of people are underestimating him. He's got a rocket arm. He throws with anticipation. He throws with timing, which is a huge part of this Kevin Stefanski passing offense. And everybody wants to everybody who wants to say something about his size, he's like a half inch shorter than Baker Mayfield. I don't think that's going to be an issue. And then you take Shedeur Sanders, and everything's going to be made. All of this stuff is made of Shedeur Sanders. Oh, what happened? Why did he slide? What's the reaction? Why? All of his bad interviews, his bad press. And you know what? We took him in the 5th round. I don't care. I don't care. Right? It's going to be that much easier for them to move on from him if he doesn't work out, and if we just got the steal of the draft if he does work out and be our franchise quarterback, right?
Yep.
So that's the question, and the question's not going to be answered until we get to camp. Is his ego going to take over, or is he going to fall in love with football?
But guys, a lot of people. The reports are a lot of people had Shedeur Sanders falling out of the 1st round. A lot of teams did not have a 1st round grade on him, but a lot of teams did have a 2nd round grade on him.
A lot of teams didn't have a 5th round grade on him.
Well, right.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Shedeur, the Browns are in the most win-win situation of all.
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
He
Yes.
either comes in and gets his stuff together, and he focuses, and he becomes that quarterback that a lot of people think he can be, like myself, or he doesn't, and you get rid of him.
Right.
If he doesn't get, if he's not good, if he's not focused, if he's more concerned about making rap videos, which I love that part of that video he made with Cam Ward was like, what do you do in your free time, or what do you do for fun? And Cam Ward was like, I play football.
Right.
And Shedeur Sanders was like, well, you want to be in my next rap video? And Cam Ward was like, no. I love that. I mean, I love that.
Cam Ward just owned him. Like own the shit out of him.
If Shedeur doesn't get his head on right when it comes to playing football in the NFL, see you later.
Right.
You don't cost us anything.
Right.
It's not like we wasted anything on you. It was a 5th round pick. We took a shot. If you don't listen, here's the thing about Shedeur. Right now, everybody is doubting you. Everybody thinks you can't make an impact. So you're either going to come in with that Baker Mayfield chip on your shoulder and try to prove a point. And if you do, maybe the Browns did find the best pick in the draft. Or you're going to be like, well, I'm still worth millions anyways. And, I got my dad and I'm worried about going to the club and all that. Well, okay,
Risk up, here's the time or whatever. I don't know. Fucking whatever.
If that's you, you're getting cut, dude.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to even think twice about it because as opposed to other players in the past, as opposed to Johnny Manziel that's out there doing coke as Billy Janzel in Las Vegas, he was a first-round pick. They had to try to find a way to make him work. Shedeur's not. Shedeur's a 5th-round pick. If he doesn't work out, see you later. And you got 2 first-round picks next year. The best thing about this draft, and I see Tim Alcorn in the background. And Joe, I'm going to give you the last word, and then we'll get Tim in. But the best thing about this draft is you gave yourself a backboard. You gave yourself a defense mechanism. If Shedeur Sanders comes in and you're like, oh, shit, this guy doesn't have his head on his shoulders, cool. Move on. You got 2 first-round picks next year that you can use to get up and get your quarterback.
Or if he works out,
I think.
Yeah, or if he works out, you got 2 first-round picks to go get him weapons.
Right.
Yeah.
The Browns are in a very much a win-win situation at this point, and I really like what they did in this draft.
Agreed.
You're going into this season staring down the barrel of a loaded Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett gun that was going to fire off a dud anyways. So now you got 2 other options. We got a lot to talk about over the next couple months. It's kind of a win-win. I mean, there's probably other directions that could have gone, but now you got 2 options, and we're going to blame one of them at one point. So, we can spread that blame around.
Yeah.
Y'all Browns fans better get ready for the fact that Kenny Pickett may not be on the team at the start of the year, but also Joe Flacco might not be on the team at the start of the year. So y'all better get prepared for what the Browns are going to do. All right, let's move away from the Browns for a minute because I see our special guest in the comments, and we already made him wait a couple minutes, but we asked him to come on late, and of course he obliged because he's the world's greatest special guest. This man was in Miami last night. This man was sitting in the arena in Miami last night, watching the Cleveland Cavaliers build a 60-point lead over the Miami Heat in a closeout game, and he brought it all on his radio broadcast, and we're going to bring him in right now. Tim Alcorn, welcome back into the Garage Beers podcast. Listen, Tim, I think this is the thing we're going to do after every series. We'll see if we can get you in, but we talked to you before the playoffs started, and we were all just kind of tense about, are the Cavs the number 1 seed? Are they going to focus up and get ready for the playoffs? What are they going to look like when the playoffs start? Well, Tim, we've now seen the Cavaliers in 4 games. And I have to tell you, the most impressive thing about what they did against the Miami Heat, which obviously is a far inferior opponent, but the most impressive thing, Tim, this team got focused up. They got intense. And they played each and every one of the 4 games with that playoff intensity. I am so pumped about this. I'm so pumped.
Well, first of all, great to be back. I told you we'd be back soon. And I forgot my beer, man. Sorry about that. I was watching that Pistons-Knicks game, which is coming down to the wire. But
Yes.
Hey, listen, we talked a couple of weeks ago, guys, and about how hungry this team is and how much they learned from the last 2 years. The blowout loss to the Knicks in the first round a couple of years ago, and then that painful loss to the Celtics last year. And that has really fueled them and it's driven them. And man, are they focused. Boy, it's easy to go down to Miami over a weekend and lose your focus.
Yeah, right.
The game Saturday was an early game. You had basically all afternoon, all night, and all day Sunday to do what you want to do on South Beach. And but these guys knew it was a business trip. They weren't down there for leisure. They weren't down there for vacation. And wow, just the dismantling of the Miami Heat last night. I thought Saturday was lopsided, and I thought it really just sucked the wind out of Miami. But I never saw last night coming. That was just an incredible display of basketball.
Well, first, Tim, you look nice and rested from partying at the Fountain Blue Bar last night. So I'm glad you make it. No, but the thing that's I think one of the steps of growth that you can see from this team was it was a closeout game last night. The hardest game to win in any NBA series, and you thought Miami would bring up a fight, but no, the Cavs stomped on their throat early and they didn't let up. That's the thing. Usually you see, especially in playoff games, elimination games, you see a team make a run, but the Cavs did not allow that to happen.
Well, much has been made about the way, and much has been talked about the way Miami played. But the Cavaliers didn't give the Heat any hope. Jared Allen, a steal on the first play or first possession, drove the floor, the dunk, and you could just feel the air in the balloon go. Miami was done at that point. And again, you could just see their shoulders sag like, here we go again. And the Cavs were unrelenting. And listen, I'm not saying Miami gave an A+ effort. They didn't. But I don't think the Cavs allowed that to happen. They never allowed the fans to get into the game. They never allowed the Heat as a team to get into that game. They seized control of it from the get-go. And to your point, Chad, that's just a mark of incredible maturity and focusedness. I don't know if that's a word, but incredible focus by the Cavs.
It is now.
Focusedness, that's a word?
Yeah.
I'll have to use that one in game 1 against Indiana. Now we know it's Indiana. But no.
They've shown great focusedness, buddy.
Yes.
Great focusedness.
Well, I got home at 3:30 this morning. My vocabulary may not be too sharp, but no, you could just see it and you could sense it. And you just felt the deflation from Miami so early on.
Tim, for me, I think this series really ended in game 2. And if you'll remember game 2 in Cleveland, the Cavaliers built a huge lead, and then they let Miami creep back in and creep back in and creep back in. And all of a sudden, late in that game, it's a 2-point game. It went from like a 20-point lead to a 2-point game. And I was screaming for it, but Kenny eventually did. I think Kenny was a little late on his substitutions in that game, but he eventually made the substitution. Donovan Mitchell comes in and just closes the game out. Donovan Mitchell comes in and says, no, I know you thought you were going to come back and win this game, but I'm going to go ahead and seal this one. And Donovan did it a lot. I won't say on his own, but he made a lot of big plays to win that game. I felt like the minute that game ended, the Miami Heat were done. The minute that game ended, when the Cavaliers, game 1, they played really well. Game 2, they got out to that lead. They let Miami come back. And when Donovan Mitchell came back into that game, and I think Evan came with him back into that game. That's how they subbed back in. And when they basically, the Cavaliers won that game by 9, but those guys came back in and just pushed it out immediately. Like, nope, this is over. It just felt like Miami went, oh, all right, well, they can make a substitution with 3.5 minutes left in the game when we think we have a shot, and they can just push it back out to 9 points like that. I feel like that was it. So, like Donovan Mitchell, I think in this series, I think coming down the stretch, Donovan had some like streakiness, right? In the season, he had a little streakiness coming down the stretch. But this series, we saw that playoff Donovan Mitchell that he was so famous for in Utah and he's been good in Cleveland, but man, we really saw that premier level Donovan Mitchell in this series.
Well, and to your point, he had 30 in the first 2 games and those clutch buckets down the stretch in game 2. And listen, that's what a 6-time All-Star, that's what a savvy veteran, a playoff experienced guy is supposed to do. Donovan can put the team on his shoulders when he has to. But I'll disagree with you a little bit, Mike. I thought Miami might come out and show something in the 3rd game. And again, the Cavs were the better team. The Cavs were going to win the series. But when the Cavs blew them out in the 3rd game, that surprised me. I really thought Miami going back home, they hadn't been home in a long time. They had played the 2 play-in games on the road and then took the journey right up to Cleveland. They hadn't been home in 10 days. So I thought, maybe they'll re-energize them a little bit. So I'd never had any doubt that the Cavs would win the series. But the situation being that I thought Miami getting back home might be able to kind of build and recharge, that just never happened. And so the Cavaliers, while that game 2 win was huge, don't get me wrong, you don't want to surrender home court. To me, game 3 left no doubt. I mean, I didn't think Miami had a snowball's chance last night in Miami.
Yeah.
But I certainly didn't think they had a snowball's chance. But again, I didn't think at any point the Cavs would be up by 60 points. That was just incredible.
Yeah, the arena where the ocean, the suites face the ocean instead of the game. Now, Tim, let's move on here to the Pacers. The Cavs move on to the 2nd round. The Indiana Pacers. What what challenges do they present here, and what type of series are you expecting?
I'm expecting a very tough series. Indiana's a team in the East that nobody talks about. We in Cleveland think nobody talks about the Cavs. Nobody's talking about this Pacer team. And from the first of the year on, they were 32-13. That equates to a 60-game, winning total over a full season. A tremendous coach in Rick Carlisle. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, so they know what it takes. There's veteran guys with playoff savviness, like Halliburton, like Siakam, like Miles Turner. They've given the Cavs some tough matchups. The strange thing about this one is they played 4 times in the regular season, but 2 back-to-back in January, and then 2 back-to-back to close out the season in 2 games that meant nothing. So the regular season finale was against Indiana, and nobody for the Cavs played. It was basically their G League team, and then they had played the Thursday night before in Indiana. That game didn't mean anything. So I'm not sure how much stock you can put in the 2 regular season meetings. But insofar as the matchup, I think this is going to be a tough one. Miles Turner, Jared Allen, they always have great battles. Like I said, Siakam, he doesn't have the size as far as he's not 7 feet tall like Evan Mobley, but he can match up with Evan. And so I think this is going to be a real good battle in the 2nd round for the Cavs.
I feel like Siakam is a guy that you mentioned, like Indiana is a team that nobody is talking about. I feel like Siakam is a superstar that nobody talks about. He's a guy that just does everything right, does everything well, but he's just he's not lost there. Maybe lost in Indiana, but he's not talked about.
Well, and again, keep in mind, he came to Indiana from Toronto.
Yeah.
Not exactly a basketball mecca.
Yeah.
So, here's a guy that his entire career really hasn't been talked about a lot. And yet he has been a critical piece to this Indiana team. They got him a month before the trading deadline last year. They wanted him, and they knew how valuable he could be. And as I said, they end up in the Eastern Conference Finals against Boston. So, listen, the 2nd round should be a tougher round, and it will be.
Yeah.
But this is an Indiana team, I think, that could really push the Cavaliers into a deep series.
Now, go ahead.
Tim, I think like a lot of Cavs fans were really. Oh, bye, Lucy. A lot of Cavs fans were really pushing for the Bucks to win tonight. They thought if you give the Pacers the extra night's rest, it's for me. I like the fact that the Cavs and the Pacers are kind of going into the next series with kind of a similar rest, because I think sometimes when the underdog team gets that 1 or 2 extra nights of rest, doesn't get it, and they have to go earn that next game, and they don't have that off time, it makes that game 1 of the next series tougher, because they're very much used to like having to fight and scratch a claw. Well, now Indiana gets that little time off, gets a little bit of rest. I actually like that for the Cavaliers. Like, I think from a team perspective, the Cavaliers, not to take anything away from Indiana, but the Cavaliers are a much deeper team than the Indiana Pacers. And if the Pacers get a moment to like take their foot off the gas, I actually think that bodes better for the Cavaliers.
Well, it's interesting. After the game last night, or I don't even know if you call it a game, it was just a complete demolition. But after the Cavs won last night, of course, you take the bus from the arena over to the airport and fly home. And so on the bus, I was talking to a couple of guys about, man, the Cavs are playing so well. And the way that they just dispatched Miami, and just the quality of play and the level of play. I wouldn't mind getting right back at it. I don't want to see this Indiana-Milwaukee series go 7 games. So now rest versus rust and all that. When you're on a roll and you're playing well, to me, let's keep playing. Let's keep going. And right now, the Cavs, they're healthy. They're playing well. Their minutes weren't extended against Miami. So they're ready to go. And to me, yeah, you want to see Indiana and Milwaukee beat each other up for 7 games. But on the flip side, that now puts the Cavs into a long holding pattern. And I know guys want rest. I know coaches want practices and they want as much time to prepare. But to me, just keep playing. If you're playing so well, if you're playing at an elite level, just keep playing. So, yeah, let's get this thing rolling with Indiana. I mean, it's going to be a great series. And so let's roll it out and get it going.
Is Darius?
There's going to be a series. If there's going to be a series where people are beating up on each other, we all talk at the same time. I'd rather it be the Boston Knicks series than the Indiana Milwaukee series. Not involving the Cavs beating up.
Right? No. Believe me, whoever Boston's playing, I hope it's the most.
Please wear them out.
Knockdown, drag out series you can get. Exactly. Exactly, because I think I said this a couple of weeks ago with you guys. I've thought for months the Cavs and the Celtics are just on a collision course. You can see this coming. And again, I don't mean that to disparage Indiana or Orlando or Detroit or New York. I'm just saying I just think these two teams are going to crash into each other in the Eastern Conference Finals. So to me, if the Cavs have the easier path and Boston gets beat up a little bit, that's life in the NBA playoffs. That's how it works.
So be it.
That's how it went. That's how it went last year. If there's one series that I want to go longer than any other, it's Orlando and Boston, because you know how physical. And listen, Boston has already shown the visual scars. I mean, Kristaps Porzingis has had a forehead busted open. The physical scars of what it takes to take down Orlando in the first round. Right now, those two teams, they are locked in a 53-53 tie in that game. And again, if Boston wins this game, that series is over. If I'm a Cavs fan, that's the only game I care about right now, is let that game go 6, or let that series go 6 or 7, just because of what it's going to do to Boston. But Tim, lastly, because again, it's we told you we weren't going to keep you on too late, but that game last night, that is unlike. That's got to be unlike anything you've ever seen on a basketball court. We talk about. We can talk about Miami maybe not playing their best. We can talk about Miami, and I know the guys on TNT were talking about them quitting and all that, but when you talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, what they did in that game, and the fact that they were up by, what was it, 41-17, 43-17, something like that at the end of the first. And then they never stopped pushing. Every quarter, their lead just kept expanding. And when you looked in the fourth quarter and you saw that they were up by 60 points, they win the game by 50. They won the game. The game 3, they won by a ton of points, but they win game 4 by 55 points. Man, it's one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in a closeout game. It is literally one of the most impressive things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, Mike, in the fact that it was a closeout game. We've seen blowouts in series before, but there's usually another game where a team can bounce back. And I thought that was going to be the case last night. I thought, okay, Miami's on their home floor. They were embarrassed in game 3. I thought the Cavs were going to sweep after the game 3 win, but I thought Miami would at least show some fight. But the Cavs, as I mentioned earlier, never allowed that to happen. Give some credit to the Cavs. Yeah, Miami didn't play well. Yeah, it looked like they laid down. But they laid down because they were against this torrential force of the Cavaliers that just seized the game. Like I said, from that first steal from Jarrett and the dunk, like, oh my. I mean, that was a statement that was being made immediately by the Cavaliers. So, yeah, it was just an incredible, impressive display in a closeout game. You know, it was funny last night. Jim Jones, of course, former Cavalier, but also a former Laker. Now, he wasn't with the Lakers at the time, but way back when, in one of their final series against Boston, they referred to it as the Memorial Day Massacre, when the Lakers just got annihilated at the old Boston Garden. And everybody thought this series is over. They lost that game by like 30 or 40 points to Bird and Parrish and McHale in that group. And Pat Riley, to his credit, rallied those troops, and they ended up winning that series. So there's been blowout wins, but in a closeout game, I was not expecting that. I was not at all.
Darius being out just a precaution, or is he expected back for Indiana?
Yeah, he should be all right. Again, they're not going to risk anything.
Yeah,
and the way that they played, especially in game 3, they were up 3-0. Again, I'm not the team doctor, so I'm not here speaking for the team doctor, but yeah, I think he'll be just fine. And with the Indiana series now, I was told will open either Saturday or Sunday at Rocket Arena. I think he'll be good to go. I hope he'll be good to go.
Tim, what a start to the playoffs. And, you know, it was a very interesting last month and a half of the season because the Cavaliers were so dominant for the first 3 quarters of the season. And then the last month and a half, there were some ups and downs. They looked gettable, right? Like, it's not a slight on the Cavaliers, but they had some stretches where they looked gettable, and they start the playoffs with a 4-game sweep of the Heat, who I thought the Heat had enough talent to get a game, and they dominated, just absolute domination, historical domination. When you look at some of the numbers of what the Cavs did to the Heat in this series, it is historic. Their offense on a historic pace once again. Everybody clicking once again. And now we know they've got the Indiana Pacers coming up. I love that. I love the interdivisional rivalry in the semifinal. I love just being 5 hours apart. I think Indiana, I've said it, and maybe you can argue with me because you've been to all of them. But of all the NBA arenas I've been to, I think the field house there in Indiana is my favorite one I've ever watched a basketball game in because it's built specifically for basketball.
I love
it's
it.
meant for that.
I love Gainbridge Fieldhouse. A great basketball facility.
Well, it's built just for basketball. Like, they don't do anything else. I mean, they might have a concert there or whatever, but like, you know, like there's not like the it's not spread out like a hockey arena. It is built specifically. You're right on the action when you're there. And the fans there are going to be crazy, especially coming off of a big victory against the Bucks, Tim.
That was going in. Yeah, I don't know if you guys were in your show. That was the most incredible, bizarre. I'm like a fan. Like, I can't believe what I'm watching. The ending to that game. It was Indiana scores 8 points in the final 35 seconds and wipes out a 7-point deficit. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great series with the Pacers. I do. I think it's going to be a really, really good series. They're a good team. Hall of Fame coach and Rick Carlisle. As I mentioned, I'm just repeating myself, but guys who were there last year, they know what it takes. Good matchup for the Cavs, personnel-wise. Should be a lot of fun.
Well, listen, if you want to listen on the airwaves, you listen to Tim Alcorn on the Cavaliers radio. Hey, can I talk to Tim for a minute? You listen to Tim Alcorn on the Cavaliers radio network as he and Jim Jones call all the action of the Eastern Conference semifinals. The Cavaliers are part of the last 8 in the NBA. This is where they got last year. So if we're talking about growth, now it's time to get past this. And man, oh man, if there looks like a team that's ready to get past it, it's the Cavaliers. Tim, thank you so much for joining us and just talking about that first round sweep, which it was stunning. It was a great performance by the Cavaliers. And here's to listening to you call as much of that amazing action as possible in the second round. And let's catch up after the second round, yeah?
Absolutely. Let's do this again. We'll talk before the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right. Thanks, Tim. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Go
Tim.
Cavs. Say go Cavs. My household is a wreck tonight. My son usually goes to bed at 9 o'clock. She usually goes to bed at 8 o'clock. Neither one of them are going to bed. So we're just doing this.
All right.
We're just doing this for the show. This is what's happening.
Yeah, why not?
Look,
Here we go.
Say hi to Joey and Chad.
Hi, Joey, Chad.
Hi, Lucy.
Hi.
Big shout out to Tim Alcorn for coming on. I mean, that game last night, boys.
Joey.
Can we not? We're not playing around with my kid. That game last night, boys.
It's my niece. Come on.
That game last night was one of the best. Absolutely one of the best basketball games I've ever watched. Unbelievable. In a closeout game.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
totally agree.
I know Miami was the 10 seed in the play-in tournament. But listen, they got Tyler Hero, they got Bam Adebayo, they got Duncan Robinson, they got their own Mitchell down there. Like they got players that can make plays, and the Cavaliers just suffocated them. And that series gave me so much hope that this Cavaliers team can win the championship. Right there. Like
They're locked in.
They took that team and said, nah, no, you don't have a chance.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the next series.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
especially given that they were sputtering, down the stretch there, at the end of the regular season. You can give me whatever reasons you want to, but they were sputtering. You didn't know what type of team you were going to see in the playoffs, but we got the 15-game, 16-game winning streak Cavs in this series for sure.
They're going to need it.
Bobby just dove off the mound to field a ball, and I think threw the guy out. If Carlos caught it,
And then the Guardians scaring the shit out of me right now.
oh, he didn't catch it. Damn.
I'm a little bit nervous that we're on 2023 Guardians.
Yeah.
It's every other year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fart noises to make with the Guardians right now. They are just
We don't need to get into that today.
when they win. Here's what I'll say about the Guardians. When they win, it's like, oh, that was exciting. And when they lose, it's like, oh, they get blown out.
Yeah.
They are getting their
It's unwatchable when they lose.
Yeah, shit, Chad. You were at the game against the Red Sox on Sunday.
Yeah.
They got their just absolutely blown out.
Yep.
Oh, the window broke.
And the window broke. I don't know what that
Oh,
means.
God.
She said it.
Sounds like a surprise for later.
Yeah.
All right, Chad, real quick. Chad and Joey, catch up. On the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, the Senators beat the Maple Leafs.
Let's
So
go.
we're going to game 6 there.
Let's go.
Right now happening, the Hurricanes and the Devils are locked in a ridiculous game, 4-4 in overtime.
Yeah.
If the Canes win it, they win the series. If the Devils win it, we go to game 6.
Yeah.
The Golden Knights are up over the Wild. That series is tied at 2-2. And the Oilers and Kings just had puck drop. That series is 2-2. It was very interesting. Every Western Conference series was 2-2
Yeah.
in the playoffs. Every Eastern Conference series was 3-1 in the playoffs.
That's some
So weird.
scoreonomy right there, isn't it?
It's got to be. It's got to be.
I love the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's the only downside is when the Cavs are in the playoffs. Like when the Cavs are in,
Yeah.
I'm locked into the Cavs.
Yeah, for sure. Don't
So
worry,
I'm
I got
missing
you.
whatever's happening in Stanley Cup world. I am zoned out. So Chad, now that we've seen this part, we're almost to the end of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Talk about your playoff predictions. How have they changed?
Well, they haven't changed as far as Washington, Montreal, and New Jersey and Carolina go. Carolina's still going to win that series. New Jersey was up 4-1. Carolina came storming all the way back, and they should win it at overtime and close that one out. Washington, apparently the Canadians thought that a fight spilling over into the bench was going to change their luck in the series, but which was awesome, by the way. That's like
such a good fight. That was
Stanley
iconic.
Cup playoffs for you. But yeah, Washington's going to win that series easily. As far as the other side of things goes, this Minnesota Wild team suffered some injuries during the season, and I think if they didn't, they would be right there in one of the top 3 seeds in the West, because you can see they're hanging right with the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Vegas Golden Knights are the 1 seed. But a healthy Minnesota Wild team is very, very evenly matched with this Vegas team. This has been a tightly played series with Vegas, and the LA and Edmonton has just been pure cinema. Every game has just been back and forth, lots of scoring, no goaltending, no defense. If you like scoring,
no goaltending.
If you like offense, watch the Kings and the Oilers. That's going to be. I don't know who's going to win that series, but I'm still predicting Kings in 7 just because they have home ice and they're one of the best teams in the NHL at home. And then on the other side, I really thought the Lightning and the Panthers was going to be a much better series than it has been. Every time you thought the Lightning was going to hang on, all of a sudden here comes Florida with like a four unanswered goals, 3 unanswered goals. So I think Florida's going to win that one going away as well. But yeah,
they've lived up to the Stanley Cup champion. Florida
1,000%
really stepped up in this.
1,000%.
They've only gotten better.
And after what I thought was going to be a Jets. I thought the Jets were going to the Jets have become the Leafs of the West, right? I thought they were going to. They had something to prove, right? They've been ousted in the first, second round each of the last few years. They've been one of the best teams in the West. They started out with dominant wins against St. Louis. Got a 2-0 series lead. That series is tied 2-2 now also. So you got to prove a Winnipeg, but I'm still taking St. Louis in 7. I think that's it. I think I've gone through all of them.
Yeah, I agree on the St. Louis pick there. Yeah. I think they're the team that once they find their footing and they get hot, you just can't stop them.
Yeah, and they've been one of the hottest teams in the NHL for the last 20, 30 games of the season.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Listen, this has been to be honest with you, it's been a very chaotic episode here in my house. But we got through man versus gorilla. We got through the Browns and the draft. Are you dabbing? It goes up.
Oh, yeah. There it is. I want to mention my 2 assholes.
Well, we're going to get there. We're going to just throw the asshole of the week and the cheer of the week just in at the end.
Back to back.
Because we had chaos over here at my house. We had man versus gorilla. We had the Browns draft. We had Tim Alcorn. We talked NHL hockey. We talked even like a hot second about the Guardians. But, Chad, you really wanted to tell everybody about your 2 assholes. So why don't you tell us about that situation? Why are your 2 assholes on fire here this week?
Man, a lot of Mexican food. No. Well, my first one, I don't know how you say his I don't know how you say his first name, but Duran from the Red Sox. Duran from the Red Sox.
Oh, Jared Durant?
It's Jaron Duran.
Jaron Duran. Jaron Duran. Whoever the asshole is that heckled him about his suicide attempt is a major asshole.
Yeah.
As someone who has like been to therapy and been through some mental health issues and even had the same thoughts he had and even took an action at one point, you're an asshole. You're a major asshole, and I hope you're never allowed back at a Guardians game.
Yep.
You know what, Chad? Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead. You respond, and then I'll give my thoughts.
I no response. Agreed.
Oh, sorry. Lucy was going crazy there. Chad, I spent a major portion of my time on Sunday arguing with fucking more assholes. Sorry.
Yeah.
More assholes on Twitter because that
are the people defending him
called out. Well, no, it's here's the thing. That guy needs to be called out.
Yeah.
For if you find out who that is, share that information. It's not. I don't want anybody to hurt that guy. I don't want any like physical harm to come to that guy. But I do think that everybody that knows that guy should know what kind of guy he is.
Right.
I think the people that work with him should know the kind of guy he is. Yeah. I think the people that are around him, his friends and his family, should know the kind of guy he is. I'm so very tired of the lack of accountability for shit like this.
Right.
You can't be in the stands and come down to the front and make comments about somebody's suicidal thoughts and just think that's fine. Like you're fine. You're going to get away with it. So Chad, absolutely 100%. The biggest asshole of the week was this guy that decided to come down to the front of the stands. And listen, I know he got ruthlessly booed in the stadium from Red Sox fans and Guardians fans. I know he was removed. I hope the Guardians say you're never welcome back here.
Yeah.
Ever. And frankly, I hope his identity is leaked. I hope everybody that knows him knows the kind of person he is, because what he did was pathetic. It was garbage, and he deserves for everybody to know what kind of person he is.
For sure. 100%. And then my other asshole is all of these like TikTok and Twitter gotcha videos where the dudes are eating. Like, I don't know what the hell that's supposed to do. I don't know if that like improves their position. Like, so MAGA or Donald Trump and then like, no, that doesn't make you look any cooler. Like, what am I supposed to take? Like, if anything, I'm just paying more attention to the food than what you're saying. Like, oh, that looks like a delicious lasagna that you have right now. Like, that looks like an amazing steak or ramen bite that you're eating. Like, I don't give a shit what you're saying. Like, it doesn't make your stance any better or whatever it is you're saying. Just stop eating, right? You look like an asshole. I mean, I applaud the people who parody that type of stuff. But yeah, I don't know why you have to eat. It's weird. It's weird.
You should have started with that one. And then gone on to the other one. Gregory H says, my asshole is my neighbor that drives through the neighborhood at 5 a.m. with loud exhaust and the system turned up, bumping to pick someone up for work. Man, F that guy. Shout out to you, Gregory. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Mine this week was Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
You got beat up at game 1. You got beat up in game 2. You started shit talking before game 3. You got beat up in game 3. And then you still kept your mouth running before game 4. And Tyler Hero came out and said, we're not going out in 4 games. We're not going out in 4. And you know what Tyler Hero did? Nothing.
Went out in 4 games.
No, he went out in game 4, but you know what he did in game 4? Nothing. He scored 4 points in game 4. Oof. He was like 1 of a billion shooting. And at no point in this series did Tyler Hero back up what his mouth was doing. So he is my asshole of the week. Easy. All right. We're just going to straight go to cheers of the week.
No, so fuck me then. Yeah.
Go on, Joe.
I'll give my asshole of the week now.
I
let him be a part of the show, Mike.
No, I'm sorry. I thought he said he didn't have one. I'm sorry. Joe, do your asshole.
Fittingly inspired by you, though. Draft grades. They can go fuck themselves. Draft grades make no sense. Mike, I know you went on a little rant on this on X or Twitter, but it doesn't matter, and we don't know what the grade is. We just kind of know if we drafted good or not, but we don't know. We don't know if it's going to work out. So why are we grading it? Why is there a grade?
I'm okay
That's
with
it.
them. I'm okay with them. But I think there should be 2 sets of grades. Right, because otherwise the point of the whole process, right? You're evaluating all these guys, and you're making a determination on how they can do in the NFL. So I mean, there should be 2 sets of grades, right? One after the draft, and one like that 2 or 3 years down the line to see how it worked out, right? At least I think so. I don't know. I'm okay with them. I don't like live and die by them, but like I'm not like, well, got an A+ or whatever.
Should be a whole show once a year that just does a draft grade for 3 years ago. You know,
just real quick, we let Tim Alcorn off here like 20 minutes ago, and when we did, the Magic had a 1-point lead over the Celtics. Right now, the Celtics have a 21-point lead over the Magic. So
okay,
close out that series.
Nice.
Yeah, that one's done.
Son of a bitch. All right, Joe.
Just start throwing bows, Magic. Just start throwing bows.
Wrap us around. Cheers of the week.
Oh, I got 2 cheers of the week. The first one, it's the Cleveland Connection, boys. I haven't been here for 4 days, and I'm walking my dog down the street, and one of my new neighbors drives up. I'm wearing my Cavs City Connect sweatshirt that I got over Christmas, and he rolls down his window. He's like, "I love your shirt, man. Go Cavs!" And I was like, it was actually during Game 4, so it was yesterday, and I was like, yeah, man, like they're up huge at halftime. It's like, oh, I haven't seen it. I've been at work. And he's like, you're from there? I was like, yeah, I'm from Avon. And he's like, oh, I'm from Euclid. So found a new friend here in Seattle already. Cavs fan. It's fantastic. Very exciting.
Let's go.
Cheers to friendship, baby. Cheers to friendship.
Yeah, cheers to friendship. And the second one is some dude at a casino in Deadwood, South Dakota that I hung out with for about 6 hours. And boy, oh boy, did we run this table. We also got very drunk. My wife had been asleep for about 4 hours at this point. And he's like, they always tell you you only live once. And I say, fuck that. You only die once. You live every day of your life. And so cheers to that guy, because we had a fantastic time playing blackjack. And,
cheers to Joey losing all of his gas money with that guy.
No, we got the gas money. We got gas money. It was a great time. Very successful. It's not a problem if you're winning.
Joe, real quick before we move on.
Yeah.
How awesome was that road trip?
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure there were terrible parts.
We talked about it a little bit before when I first hopped on and you were doing whatever you were doing. But there's no better way to see the country. There's no better way to see the country than to drive through it. And there are some really shitty states to drive through, but there's some really fantastic states to drive through. And like once we hit Mount Rushmore into Wyoming, which was one of our favorite states, Montana is just an incredible specimen of a state to drive through. Like, you don't have to stop at a single city. Every turn is just a beautiful mountain range, and it's just gorgeous. But every city in Montana is fantastic. Bozeman, Missoula, we both went to. Those are just like super cool and just like fun cities, and like just the nicest people. Like everyone's just like a good human.
Yeah. Except for Kevin Costner. You better watch out for Kevin Costner.
Yeah, he will light you up.
The Dutton Ranch.
He will.
Did you pass the Dutton Ranch?
No, we saw Yellowstone though from a distance.
No,
we also saw some buffalo.
Nice.
We went to a Native American reservation and went buffalo hunting, but we didn't like shoot. It was just kind of in our car. We're driving around.
I was like, I hope you didn't hunt buffalo. What?
Hunting the site of a buffalo, and we found them.
100 men, 10 buffalo. Who wins?
Oof! Wow. Okay, so they could have a good
buffalo
plan of attack.
Tough, man.
They could have a good plan of attack.
They can run 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, you're dead. You're
downhill.
You're done.
All right. Chad, cheer of the week.
Oh my God! Have you guys seen this Dalton Varsho catch yet?
No.
Oh
no!
Shit! I mean, I sent it to you guys in an email. The link to you guys in an email. It's a catch I've never seen. before in my 2 years on this earth in baseball. I don't know if you could pull it up real quick.
Yep, I got it.
You got it? Well, this would be awesome. I can get your guys' instant.
Can you bring it in the show, Mike?
I can get your guys' instant reaction to this. I've never seen a catch like this ever. Nope, that's not it.
Well, that's not it.
Yeah, that's it. Did you do that? That's it right there. Yeah, that's it. Play that. Here we go. Watch this. Mike, watch this.
Oh!
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, right?
Let's go.
That's so cool.
Oh, and it's Jaron Duran that we already talked about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's insane. You want to see that again? Look at oh my god. Oh my god. Oh wait, got it.
Oh,
that's sick. Okay. I was gonna say that other catch. That other catch was like okay, like it's a great catch, but I've seen that like 10,000 times before.
You've seen this one?
This one. That was beautiful.
No, the other one.
Oh, okay, okay. He's like, oh my god.
The reaction.
That's so good. OG Philly in the comments, which by the way, OG Philly, 11creative.com. If you need merch, 11creative.com is your home to go.
There we go.
OG Philly, Tyler Hero's defense. Hey, listen, he only had 4 points, but he only had 4 points, but he gave up 52. So
not a big deal.
I'll let you decide what's good there. I'm going to wrap it up with my cheer of the week, and this was just a very cool moment. Are we all good with saying Kevin Love is a Cleveland legend at this point?
Yep.
Is Kevin Love a Cleveland icon?
He is.
Do we just love this dude forever? Like, is he family at this point? I feel like Kevin Love's family. So the moment last night, man, I'm just going to give a shout out to Kevin Love because it came out that Kevin Love's dad, he lost his dad a couple days ago. And I got to tell you, man, the moment before the Cavs game last night, and you know Kevin Love's a member of the Miami Heat, even though he's not playing at this point, but the moment, and it got captured between him and Tristan Thompson was so cool, man. It was every once in a while you need just a good reminder that like we do a sports podcast. And man, do we get aggressive about sports, but like you need a good reminder sometimes that it doesn't really matter. Like none of the shit matters. Because even if your team gets swept out of the playoffs or they don't win the championship, or even if your team sucks like the goddamn Cleveland Browns and they always suck, you wake up the next morning and you're a person and you have a family and you have people you care about. And these people who play these games wake up the next morning and they have a family and they have people they care about. And I'll tell you what, man, that little scene they showed with Kevin Love really just like collapsing into the arms of Tristan Thompson before the game last night was awesome. So listen, man, Kevin Love is a Cleveland icon. We love him here. He lost his dad, and we always stand by Kevin Love, just like we always stand by a lot of our athletes. Not all of them, because not all of them are great people, but we always stand by a lot of our athletes, and Kevin Love's certainly one of them. An iconic Cleveland athlete. And so I just want to give him cheers and really cheers to his dad for a life well lived and a son he could be proud of. So that's my cheers of the week. All right, boys. That's going to do it for the most chaotic goddamn episode of the Garage Beers podcast of all time. But we still had a great time on episode 261. Whether you enjoyed Man versus Gorilla, or whether you enjoyed a little bit of draft breakdown, which we will do more of as the draft and the breakdown moves on. And plus, I think we may have some special guests coming up that are going to be new Cleveland Browns that you're going to want to hear from. So, stay tuned for that. Big time shout out to our special guest here tonight, Tim Alcorn, the Cleveland Cavaliers radio voice. He's getting ready to call the Eastern Conference semifinals matchup against the Indiana Pacers. That first game, game one, is on Sunday at Rocket Arena. And I'm calling a sweep here, boys. I'm calling a sweep.
Sunday.
I'm calling a sweep. I think the Guardians are sweeping the Pacers. I think they're going 8-0 to start their playoffs. I think that's what's happening. But
is John Kenzie Noel going to go for 30 every game?
John Kenzie Noel? What?
Yeah, you said Guardians are going to sweep the Pacers.
Oh, son of a bitch.
He's just dropping 30. I mean, he's got a big ass. He's gonna go for 30 and 10.
Chad, it's been a night, man. It's been a night.
I can tell.
It's been the night.
Yeah.
Lucy is sitting under the desk right now, just waiting for me to end this. I think it has been a night. Lucy, you want to come say bye? Come on. But big shout out to Tim Alcorn. He is one of our favorites, one of our favorite guys in general, and one of our favorite guests. And hopefully the next time we talk to Tim Alcorn, it's after the Cavaliers beat the Pacers and move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. So big shout out to Tim Alcorn. Our biggest shout out goes out to all of you, though. Everybody that joined us live here tonight, over 500 people live tonight, plus all the many people that would join us afterwards on the podcast version or on YouTube or Twitch. Big shout out to you. We love you. We thank you for joining us. That's going to do it for episode 261 of the Garage Beers podcast. Shout out to the OBR for hosting us. Make sure you're following them. Go follow at the Garage Beers on all the socials. And for Joey out there in Seattle for the first time, look at the sunlight out there in Seattle. For Chad over on the east
Still got an hour left, baby.
And how about for Lucy? At 11 o'clock at night, Lucy, say, go Cavs. Come on.
Yeah.
I am Michael Keefe. Go follow the show at the Garage Beers everywhere, and we will see you next week for episode 262.
Bye.
Until then, cheers, and we'll see you later. Say bye.
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 Mike.
Bye, Joey.
Mike.